OK, so now to another big news topic. That's right, the truth is out there, they say, and NASA have decided to try and find it. Yet, if you're sceptical of UFO spotters, it may be time to change your mind now that the world's premier space agency are starting to take the matter a lot more seriously. So NASA are planning to gather data on, quote now, events in the sky that cannot be identified as aircraft or known natural phenomena from a scientific perspective, UFOs, right? Anyway, so they added that there is no evidence that unidentified aerial phenomenon are extraterrestrial in origin, but they would say that, wouldn't they? Of course. What do they know? Anyway, right, joining me now, I'm delighted to say I can welcome now space journalist Andy Lound. Yeah, that's the stuff. Andy, thank you very much. Welcome, Andy. Is this NASA study big news in the space journalism world?
Yeah, NASA have decided to take a look at this seriously now. I mean, the United States have looked at it before with a project called Blue Book, which was run by the US Air Force, which, to be honest, was a bit dodgy because it was a way of poo-pooing what people were seeing in the sky. But a group of NASA scientists have wanted to actually look at this more seriously from a scientific point of view, and then realised they're going to get a lot of stick for this from other aspects. And one of the other aspects has been, you say UFO, what are you going to think of? You're going to think of one of these, aren't you, really? That's not what a UFO is. It is something in the sky that we can't clearly identify. And I think the way it's been portrayed in many ways, partly through movies and things like that, and apart from everything else, it sort of switched people off as to what they could be looking at. Because we could be looking at new forms of phenomena, new atmospheric activity, new types of physics we could be looking at, which hasn't been properly identified before. And the NASA scientists said they need a proper look at this and take a look at all these events. They're not going to be looking at the secret military stuff. They're not going to get access to that. But they're just going to look at the data sets, if you like, and actually break it down properly in a true scientific manner to see what we're looking at. Because this is really quite important. Because the whole point of science is to study nature around us by observation. We're the greatest voyeurs in the world, scientists. Our job is to look at things. And unfortunately, this subject, I mean, I'm actually have been investigating 3 particular UFO cases for several years in Birmingham. And it's brought me in contact with a variety of people. And some of these people really have no understanding what science is. And therefore, we really need scientists to take a look at this and perhaps get a true handle on it that could actually get to some truth and get rid of all the hyperbole.
What's happened in Birmingham, Andy?
Well, there's a particular sighting which was spotted by 3 independents. My mother was one of them, strangely enough. My mother was non-scientific. But years later, I found on the same period of time, the same object was actually observed by a group of people, including a former RAF intelligence officer, which I'm afraid is a sort of observation which is rather good. And then I found a third group of witnesses that seen the same sort of thing. So I'm trying to coordinate at the moment to find out exactly what they've been observing. It coincided in 1973 with the test flights of a spherical drone, which was shown at I think it was at the Farnborough Air Show. So it could actually be that was being tested over the region. But it is interesting to actually get into the scientific area of it. Yeah. But what is interesting, it brought me into contact with UFO societies, and they sent photographs and they sent all sorts of reports, and they tried to put a scientific meaning on it. And you thought, these people actually have no idea what science is. They talked about magnetic flux could obviously be seen. You wouldn't be able to see magnetic flux. It doesn't work like that. No, and therefore, you really need true science to have a look at these things.